So funny. I've been working all morning, and I worked for this guy like 20 years ago. I went to his office one time because everyone was afraid to ask him. So I went to the boss's office and I go, "Hey, are we working? Are we working Monday? Monday's Labor Day." He looked at me and goes, "What's labor?" I said, "Work." He goes, "We're working." I said, "All right, fine." That's always that's been my go-to. You know, uh, when we talk about Labor Day, it's work, right? So I was at work today, and the topic of conversation, and I don't know how it goes to this, is marijuana. Legalizing marijuana in Florida for recreational use, right? So at one point, they used to tell you, they used to tell you all the medical benefits of marijuana, right? Oh, you can smoke it, um, and it for people who have seizures, for pain, the whole thing. So Florida came out with these with like I think it's something called Charlotte's Web and some other things that you could take that gave you the benefits, but you didn't get high, right? And I laughed so hard because people are like, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You get the benefits of it, right? You get the benefits of everything. The seizure, they've introduced all this stuff. Delta 9. People take Delta 9 um, for people who have ADHD and other pain. They take it and they say it helps, but it's still not good enough. Still not good enough. So I'm like, well, if it's about the medical benefits, and you already have Charlotte's Web, you already have Delta 9, you already have all this stuff, what's the problem? Is it the high? I mean, you guys want the high? No. What it's really about. But they don't tell you, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they should tell us, right? Tell us what it's really about, right? So they started talking about how people get arrested, right? People get arrested because of marijuana possession, right? Which is dumb. Which is dumb anyway, right? Give them a ticket or something. If you got to arrest people, right? You arrest people, and then they get something on their record, and then as you get older, and the people who are in their 20s are smoking weed, whatever. As they get older, they can't get a job, right? I'm in the medical industry. You got to pass the background check. And if you have anything on your record from drug use, sometimes drug use they've kind of lightened up on, but if it was drug use or fraud, anything like that, you're done. You're not getting a job in the medical industry. You just can't get it, right? So first they tried to sell everybody that it was an issue, that the weed, marijuana, and all the medical benefits of it, right? So Florida came out with, Charlotte's Web, Delta 9, all this different stuff that gave the people the same effect. It made them feel, it helped them, but that wasn't good enough, right? So they had to try to change the narrative. And now they're slowly kind of changing it from the benefits of it to what it's doing to the criminal justice industry. And listen, if you want to smoke weed, smoke weed. I could care less, man. I could care less. When I was younger, I used to care a lot less about a lot of stuff. But the problem is, as you get older and you start having kids, a lot of things change. Not for everyone, but the things you care about start changing, right? And I was telling a buddy of mine, I go, you go to a park, can people smoke weed in the park? They're going to say, no, you can't, but they are, right? They are. Because they're never going to enforce it. You can't enforce it. If someone's walking around the parking lot smoking weed, right? If someone's standing outside, if someone is, yeah, I'm filming in the car because usually I'm driving around. I'm driving around doing live streaming about where I'm going, but it's kind of rainy right now, and I don't want to be. I'm not going anywhere. But no, I had this conversation about marijuana, with one of my patients, and again, I don't care. I don't care if you smoke weed. I don't care. I can care less if it's legal or not legal. Yeah, trying to, Running Man. Trying to. But the thing about it is, um, I heard, check this out. I heard there's a move afoot that people who use, apparently people that are using some of the social media platforms, they want people to have to, like KYC, if you're familiar with KYC, that you just can't, you won't be able to just open up a social media account. You'll have to give them a driver's license and use your real name. You won't be able to use screen. You have to use real names and locations, and isn't that like a violation or something? I don't even know if that's true. But someone told me that they're gonna, because if you own Bitcoin and other stuff like I do, right? There's a move afoot to do what they call the KYC, know your customer. So now I heard someone says they're talking about doing that with they're doing that with social media, that you won't be able to use like hashtags or 600-pound John or whatever it is. You can't do anything. Running Man. You're gonna start doing it. Raymond, I'm an occupational therapist, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't know. I think that'll change the whole ballgame. If they make us start using KYC, have to give IDs. I don't know if they do that now. I mean, I've had my account forever. I can't remember if I ever did anything like that. But if people had to use their real names, that might change a lot of things, right? But anyway, back to the marijuana thing. So Florida, it'll probably pass, and then it'll probably what you're going to see is the legislature, because the legislature is run by the Republicans here in Florida. It's like a super majority. Because in Florida, the problem is most of the Democrats are in one area, or there are multiple areas, but they're concentrated, right? A lot of Democrats are in Miami. Broward County is a heavily Democratic county. There's like 600,000 Democrats and like 300,000 Republicans, right? So, and then you have Orlando, the all around Orlando, all around Tampa, but the rest of Florida, most of the northern part of Florida, the coast is dominated by the Republicans, and probably what will happen is what they've done before is that they'll pass recreation marijuana, but what will happen is they will put all kinds of restrictions on it, right? And I was talking to this guy, and I'm like, what's the big smoking a joint or drinking a beer? What's the difference? What's the difference, right? Whether you're at a bar and you get drunk, or whether you're or people who are smoking weed and getting high, what's the difference? The only difference is that you can't get drunk from secondhand alcohol, right? I can sit in a bar and drink water and not get drunk. But if I sat in a bar with everyone was smoking weed, I can get high, right? That's the difference, right? The difference is if you're close enough to someone who's smoking weed and you're breathing it in, can you get high? And you probably can. You're gonna get high, right? You're gonna get high. So we'll see. The amendment in Florida is probably going to pass to legalize marijuana or recreational, whatever it is. And I'm going to vote to legalize it, but the legislature is going to put so many, they're going to restrict it so much that you're only going to be able to do it in your house, and they're going to say you can't do it out in public, and then you'll start, like the open container law, right? And you'll get tickets. The next thing you know, there's going to be a big outcry of all these tickets that are being issued, and then the cops aren't going to be enforcing it. Then you'll find out that in certain parts of the state, they're going to enforce it, and then there'll be a whole outcry that it's racist, because they're issuing tickets to more minorities than they are anywhere else, and then that turns into a whole nother thing, right? So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know what else. I don't know what else on the marijuana front. So we'll see. It's so funny. The analogy I was having with one of my patients was, so here's A. A is a product that will give you all the benefits of marijuana. It'll give you for seizure, for pain, for ADHD, for any type of nervous disorder, right? Because it suppresses your nervous system, right? But it won't. But you can't get high from it. Right? You can't get high, but you can do it, right? And then here's item B. But here's B. B is you can for an extra $10 have this product, but you're gonna get high. They're gonna spend the $10 to get high. So we'll see. So see again. I'm gonna vote to legalize it because I think it's stupid to arrest people over it. To arrest people over marijuana is dumb. Is dumb. Just like alcohol, as long as you're not driving high, as long as you're not doing things, to hurt anyone else, who cares? The only thing is, there's a lot of businesses in Florida benefit from having what we call drug-free workplaces, right? Drug-free workplace. If you institute a program where you regularly drug test your employees, you get insurance breaks. The insurance companies give you breaks. So what are you going to do? They're going to stop having that, and then companies will lose their drug-free certification. Their insurance rates will go up, and then we'll be paying more, right? There's always going to be something. So I'd like to see how they work that out. When you can't have a drug-free workplace. I mean, I work in the medical industry, and every time I start working for a new company, because I'm self-employed. I'm a contractor. I work for various companies, home health companies, etc., to provide occupational therapy. And then what happens is I get drug tested every single time. Every single time I get drug tested before I hire, They do a background check, and then every so often you get a random drug test. Now I've heard that failing for marijuana is no longer, some places have backed off of that, but there are some places that they don't, because of the drug-free workplace, and because of the insurance premium breaks they get for having a drug-free workplace. So that'll be interesting to see if they legalize, if the Floridians vote to legalize marijuana for recreational use, how that'll filter down into the work environment. You know, I'm sure if people start losing their jobs, or if they start losing their certification and their insurance rates go up, it's going to be a big deal. When do you just say it and blow up? What? Peter Griffin. Peter Griffin, that's the Family Guy. Yeah. Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful was a professional wrestler. Mr. Wonderful. Was that Kurt Hennig? Kurt Hennig? Lightning 420? No. No. No, I'm under 420. So you ain't winning a prize. You don't win the prize. What were you saying about marijuana? I say marijuana, legalize it, man. I think it's stupid for people to get arrested over marijuana. That's just me. But how when it passes in Florida, then the legislature has to, it's just not like, listen, people pass things in Florida all the time, but then the legislature has to write up laws, right? And it doesn't become like, oh, so you legalize it for recreational use, and then that's it. Florida never does anything like that. The legislature gets a hold of it, and then they put all kinds of, yeah, Lightning, I am. Then they put all kinds of like rules and stipulations on it. Always been like that. What's up? Hey, Callie in the house. Callie. Never been there, man. Just only seen it. I'm across the country. It's hard to get out there. I know it's nice. What do you say about it? A wrestler. Nice. I know. I hear you, man. They talk about that in Florida. I'll give you a funny example, right? My wife worked here. Okay, so, well, we're in Florida. My wife got a job working remote for a company based out of California. So when they do their payroll and she gets her check, they tax it as Florida because we're in Florida. Well, her first check, they made a mistake and they taxed it as she was in freaking California. Holy crap. It was like an extra $300. It was like an extra $200 a week in taxes because of state tax and stuff like that. And I got to see firsthand. I got to see firsthand how, where they have state tax, how it impacts. I laugh because when you start traveling around and talking to people, you see the differences, right, in each state. Like Georgia, which is right next door to us. When you register your car, right? So in Florida, to register my car every year is like $79. It's like $79. Even cheaper than that, I think, to register my car. But our gas prices are like, and I'm going to get there, are like, let's say $3.30 a gallon. My sister lives in Georgia. To register her car is like a couple $1,000 every year. And it has something to do with your taxes. And then the gas tax Like their gas is much cheaper. Their gas is cheaper than Florida. It's cheaper than Florida because of because they wrap their taxes into the car registration, right? Wow. Yeah, yeah. Florida doesn't worry about all that stuff. I'm looking this way. I don't want to get hit by a car. I got to pull out in traffic. No, I hear that a lot. I've had an uncle that has lived out in California. He worked in the movie business. He lived out there for 50 years and he hates it. He won't leave though. He can't. He's like 80 years old. I told him, why would you uproot your life now to come back to Florida after 50 years? No, you're 80. Enjoy. But yeah, it just shows you how each state has a different structure. I mean, if you really do some research, if people did researches, if you really research things, right, you'd be blown away by how much gas is taxed. Gas is taxed like crazy. They tax it at the federal level, they tax it at the state level, they tax it at the local, at the county. Let's say it goes federal tax, state tax. Each state has like a county. They do it at the county level. Then they give the option of the cities to tax it, right? And if you add it all up, on every gallon of gas, there's like 55 or 60 cents of that is all for tax. I think at the local level they tell them they can spend like up to 6 cents a gallon. I don't know what they do with it because the streets. I don't know if it's for the streets. I have no idea. But I drive around. I don't see anyone doing anything with the streets. Maybe they go out there, they fix a pothole once in a while, but I don't see them doing all kinds of great work to the streets. You know. And the problem is in Florida, people buy the electric EVs, right? But people are nervous about it because if you live through hurricanes like I have, it doesn't happen all the time, right? But it happens once in a while. You get whacked by a hurricane, and it's not uncommon to lose power for 4 or 5 days, and not just like at your house, like the entire area. You know, like the entire area where you live, the city. You know, and people are nervous. They're like, well, how you going to charge your car, right? It's easy when you get a gas car. You go fill up, you get a bunch of gas cans. I got like 30 gallons. I got like 5-gallon gas cans that I go have filled up, and then it buys you like 2, 3, 4 days of gas, right? And then the other problem is we live in Florida, the Sunshine State, and they have a hard time getting people to get solar panels, right? I had someone come to my house, and the problem with solar panels is, as a homeowner, it would cost me, I think they said, anywhere from 10 to 12 grand to put solar panels on my house. But my electric bill is $200 a month. So I would literally I'd have to go 8 or 9 years, right, to pay for the solar panels. But I'm going to get a tax break. Whatever it is. And then there's a big thing in Florida about putting for our insurance now, our homeowners insurance is going out the roof, going crazy. You got to put a new roof on your house, right? So the problem is, if you have an issue, if you put solar panels on your roof and you have an issue with the roof, you have to pay a company to come out and disconnect the solar panels so they can work on your roof. And if they have to take them off, a buddy of mine had solar panels. His insurance company, on a roof that was 7 years old, they told him he had to re-roof his house. Re-roof his house before they'd issue him a new policy. That's a new thing in Florida. The roofing company that came out gave him a quote of $16,000 to put, which is pretty standard, a shingle roof on the house, plus an additional $5,000 to remove the solar panels and put them back on, right? So if you drive through my neighborhood, there's hardly anybody who has solar panels. Hardly anyone. Unless they're giving it away for free. No one's doing it. You know, it just doesn't. It doesn't. So, we'll see. We'll see. Well, listen, that was my rant. I was sitting in the parking lot at Best Buy because it was raining. And I'm headed home. One house with solar panels there. I'm counting them. So I entered my subdivision. I'm looking, another house. There's two. So out of all the houses I've passed so far, which is a lot, I see two houses that had, it's like they had their house re-roofed and then they put the solar panels on. Now, what they're trying to do now is the roofing companies have gotten into solar panels. So what they're saying is, if you go with us, if you have to have a new roof put on for some reason or any roof repair, we'll take the solar panels off and put it back on for free. Right? Sounds great, but most of these roofing companies go out of business. There's very few that stick around for a while. All right, well, listen, I'm home, and I will talk to you guys later. Running Man must be bored, or he doesn't know what to do with himself. Lightning, have a good day, brother.